Cool, cool, cool. I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna. It's 9 o'clock now, but I'm gonna run down, get a refill of these. That should give a few minutes for some people to trickle in, and then we'll jump in and start. So I'll be back in just a second. Okie doke. I'm back, guys. Oh, I forgot, man. With Discord owning this camera, I've lost it on this stream. All good. Okay, so a little bit of news. First of all, the I've got a couple of guys in here today replacing my windows, so I might have to jump around PCs. So if they come in here to do some window work, I might have to log off for 10 minutes, jump onto a different computer, and then we'll pick it up from there. So it's going to be a little bit stop and start today, and I apologize for that, but we'll soldier through and try and figure it out. Okay, so first things first, let's pop in and take a look at the assignment briefs. So far it's just my regular animation crew, is it? Oh no, okay, I see a couple of you guys from the programming degree, so that's all good. So I have to touch. I've been doing a lot of thinking about this. I have to touch base with you guys from the programming. I got to touch base with you guys from programming, just to make sure that you guys are following along with a lot of this stuff. I've sort of prepped an introductory sort of lecture on Unreal Engine. I know I did an introductory last class, but I realized I was trying to find a balance between the programming module and the game design module, but I'm leapfrogging through a lot of basic concepts. So today was going to be a lecture that covers a lot more of the rudimentary construct of what Unreal Engine is, and then breaking down the individual components. That means for my regular game design students, you're probably going to be a bit bored today. But this question addressing the programmers, is that a good place to start with you guys to sort of reiterate a lot more of the structure of Unreal Engine? Is that...
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you happy with that? Yeah, because I feel like I'm leapfrogging and giving you giant gaps in your knowledge, and it's best if I just, again, really backpedal and cover a lot of the rudimentaries. I think that's pretty important. I think a couple of my regular game design students might appreciate that, because there's a few of you that are still not entirely 100% comfortable in Unreal Engine, so hopefully, hopefully this won't be too bad. I know when we dove right into it, I threw like virtual compositing at you, and I probably left some of you going, "Holy cow! That I don't even I don't even understand the UI of Unreal." So that's my bad. It's just I jumped in assuming that I was teaching. I was assuming that the programming module you guys had engine experience before, but like I found out recently, you've only dived into Unity really. And I
The games dev games.
Sorry.
Assuming the games devs are dev games.
Yes, yeah, I did. I will have things to mention at our next staff meeting, because I think you game dev guys should be engine oriented really early. You shouldn't have to wait till the second year to dive into an engine. That's my understanding. I hope I'm wrong, but I gather you guys had a taste of Unity though, didn't you?
I haven't opportunity yet either.
Right.
They haven't touched any engines yet at all
Okay.
prior to this class.
Okay. Right. But the other caveat too is when I sort of talk about Unreal Engine, it's very sort of it's obviously it's more weighted towards the art side of things. So it will be quite visual, but again, I'm going to try to bridge the gap using blueprint scripting a little bit so that there's a little bit of, okay, this is how the code flow works inside the engine, and then a little bit of, this is what the art side of it looks like. But it'll be good to kind of give you guys an overview. For the toughest relationship in a game studio, and I speak from experience, is bridging the gap between programmers and artists. That's huge. And the one thing that helps to solve that is by sort of exposing artists to a little bit of coding and exposing coders to a little bit of art. And that's the only way to bridge the gap, right? So I'm hoping that this module sort of accomplishes that. Right? It's a lofty goal, and I say it's a lofty goal because that disconnect still exists in the industry. For those of you who are curious, the highest paid, most valuable position on an art team is the technical artist. Massively valuable. The technical artist is the artist who is very familiar with the visual side of things and very familiar with the programming side of things and effectively bridges the gap, right? But they are rare, right? They are very, very rare and difficult to recruit, right? Something you guys might want to keep in mind when you're like, oh, I hate programming, I just want to create art. Or, oh, I hate all this art stuff, I just want to create code. Effectively becoming familiar with the two, potentially could add another 0 to your paycheck. So there you go. Something to keep in mind. All right. So first things first, assignment briefs. So I tracked a couple down for you. I had to rejig them a little bit because in their current state, they weren't suited for you guys. And I'll talk a little bit about that in just a second. So let's see, 2021 coursework 1. So yeah, we'll do a little bit of sort of housekeeping in the beginning here, and coursework 2. Now, there's no surprises here. It's exactly what I said that you guys would be doing, right? Either a virtual production scenario, kind of like a little short 1-minute thing, or a little indie game. But I want to shorten the scope of that indie game because there's not a lot of time left, and I think it's really quite complicated for you to execute a complete indie game either on your own or with a group. I will leave that for bonus, for like first class honors, if you want to build a complete game. But I think it's out of your guys' scope inside of the few months that we have left, right? So instead, I've rejigged the assignment. The other reason I rejigged the assignment is the assignment was developed with indie games development being a 2-semester course in mind. Now, you didn't have indie game development last semester, did you? Yeah. So I think what has happened is they've compressed this module into this 1 semester, right? So that also changes the scope of the assignment. So I'll go over that. So most assignment modules, most assignments for modules are split into 2. There's usually a visual component and a written component, and this is identical, right? There's nothing really new here. So I'm thinking maybe I should stop the stream on this one. There we go. Let's